Yes, thank you all for coming to the TGAM WGM That Guy's a Maniac weekly general meeting. We have a few things that we need to run through. Myself, Office Richie, and Office Farley, we have to talk through a few things that have been happening around the office and on people's laptops. So we just need to reiterate a few things that have been happening and get your heads around our policies and things like that. Farley, do you want to sort of very quickly remind people?
I don't think Farley's here.
Office Farley. Mind quickly reminding people about TGAM and like the website and the socials and things like that?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's
a lot
really
of you are spending quite a bit of time on social media at the moment. So please follow That Guy's a Maniac at That Guy's a Maniac, all one word, all lowercase. And of course, that links to the heart of That Guy's a Maniac, www.thatguys.co.uk.
Thank you very much for that. So, I think to point one on our agenda, we really need to have a little chat about productivity and the massive dip that has happened around people playing Wordle.
Yeah, so, yes, it's a fun game and lots of people are playing it and that was kind of fine.
Is it a game?
And then, people were kind of competing with each other and, we don't mind that. And they were kind of doing it around the water cooler and then in the common room and then it still spilled into corridors. And then there were some anti-Wordle people and some pro-Wordle people and then the anti-Wordle people were finding out what the word of the day was and putting that up in the office and then spoiling it for other people. We've had 2 fist fights and we've had to send a couple of people home. Somebody's got a stapler injury. So we've taken the decision. We'll send an email to everybody after this meeting. But basically we've updated our policy and there's no Wordle to be done as soon as you cross the threshold. No talking about Wordle. No looking up the Wordle. And we don't want to see you posting Wordles on your social media accounts.
Yeah. Fuck Wordle.
Intro done?
Intro done. But yeah, on a more serious note, so you hate Wordle?
Yeah, I don't hate Wordle, but it's one of those things that's taken the world by storm, or, well...
The Wordle by storm.
Certainly on my social media. So then I kind of ended up having to block the word Wordle, but then also blocking the green and yellow squares. It's really interesting to me, and the part I was really tempted because when a game kind of like that kind of goes, mainstream, or it feels like it's mainstream and everyone's playing it.
Yeah. I
think it's really fucking selfish and uninteresting to post how you did on your Wordle. I think the app allows you to automatically do it.
Yep,
but
it does.
As
an advertising campaign. That's the whole.
Yeah, I mean it's genius, obviously. But as a lifelong gamer, and we know not to ever talk to anyone else about games. This whole time, we could have been posting, my achievements, just spamming all my followers with, I got this trophy, I got this achievement, but we're not because we know it's selfish and it's horrible. And then all of a sudden, every fucker is just oh look how well I did in the Wordle today. Nobody cares, mate.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm tempted to reply to them with my, look, here's my certificate for completing the Pokedex in Pokemon Diamond Pearl.
Yeah. Except, like, people don't consider Wordle a game. They consider it a kind of lifestyle that's increasing their dialogue and things like that as well.
I don't mind them, them doing it. That's fine. It's the showing off your kind of virtual achievement.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I like as soon as I got my outfits in World of Warcraft, I was pinging pictures up on Facebook and making you post pictures on our social media.
But that's that's fine because if for the 3 people who follow us, that's presumably what they're following us for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just all of a sudden everybody from people from all over were all of a sudden just posting that, and it got to the point which I had to block certain phrases. It got to the point where in between the adverts and people posting their Wordle, you had to kind of scroll to find a genuine, in inverted commas, piece of social media content.
Yeah.
Who knew? I mean, I'm chuffed to bits that people are really getting into it. It's one of those. Who knows? Maybe if it lasts a little bit longer, it will be up in the echelons of Tetris and Snake, and there's games that kind of cross the threshold into mass uptake. But yeah, people's behaviour. That's what makes me really angry. It's people's behaviour about it.
Yeah, no, I was having a go at it, and I did it's got a daily tracker as well. So you have to play it daily to keep your your Wordle run up or streak, Wordle streak.
Yeah.
So there's even that sort of gamification in there. But yeah, it's the sheer amount of time that you can spend on it as well. It's also very, very susceptible to false results as well. So you can do Wordle on your phone, and then you can just put a word in straight away and get your, oh, I got it first time. It's just like, there is very little in the way of, like when people post those things, it's like, fuck you, I don't believe you did do that the first time. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there are genuine people, but it's so, I don't know, like, it also does take a big gulf out your day. Like, looking at those 5 letters, thinking, what could this 5-letter word be? Is it moist? Is it mount? I don't. Why did my head go there? Is it penis? Is it? It's like.
Yeah. Is it anuses? Is it mommy's boobies? And other Freudian things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were saying you had to delete it because you were thinking about it a lot.
Well, it wasn't.
And then when you were done,
there's nothing to delete. It's just a browser game.
Oh, I wonder what tomorrow's word could be.
Yeah, it's just another daily game. The same pish that you get in any of your other mobile games, free to play, where you have to do this. There's less ads. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, people are using the excuse of expanding vocabulary and all that sort of stuff. But it's.
I don't mind. People could. Yeah, go nuts. I'm glad that some people have, discovered something that gives them a wee bit of joy. But I'm not interested in how we did. Please, spare me. Otherwise I will start, digging out my platinum trophy screenshots of my PlayStation and just posting them to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's the daily achievement of... I suppose it's no different than posting, look, I managed to cook dinner. Here's my beans on toast. I suppose that's what social media is for. It's just the Wordle has made a convenient, silly little pattern that people who play it care about.
Yeah. The playing I don't have an issue with. I really don't. It's the built-in spreading word. Anyway.
Yes.
What are we going to talk about?
We are going to talk... Right, yeah. We're going to put Wordle aside. The reason and point of this episode is some nice evergreen content, which is we're going to talk about the MegaDrive or the Genesis.
Yeah, weirdly. So we've been talking about doing this episode for a while, and ever since we started talking about it, you randomly started calling the MegaDrive Genesis for the first time in your entire life.
Well, no, it's not for the first time. Like. We were when you are often exposed to the MegaDrive being called Genesis on a lot of platforms. Not discounting the Switch, which also has Genesis as the what's it called? The name of the system as well. It has Mega Drive on the front page, but as soon as you go in, all the box art is Genesis. So it's a thing. Also, just like it's been part of somebody, or it's been part of somebody, being part of the emulation sort of scene. I know that everybody calls it Genesis. All of the emulators are Genesis something or other, So it's definitely something that exists in my head. So when I say Genesis, it's because it's been I've been Americanized in that fashion.
I mean, it is a better name than Mega Drive.
I think Mega Drive definitely suits the British public more. Genesis
is more exciting. Like Mega is quite exciting, but it's a bit played out now. We had possibly because of the Mega Drive, we had Mega this, Mega that, Mega. Then Drive, so boring.
I know.
Mega, it's to say it's just like a big USB stick.
Yeah, it's so true. The Mega Drive. In fact, it's not even a big USB stick. It's 1 megabyte.
Yeah.
That is a tiny
back in the
USB
day,
stick. Yeah.
Back in the day, that would have been huge.
No, it wouldn't have been. That is smaller than a floppy disk. A floppy disk is 1.44 megabytes.
You're so interesting. So interesting.
Yeah, well.
So Mega Drive Memories.
Yes. Right. So, I think first off, did you have a Mega Drive?
Yes, we did have a Mega Drive, and so the Mega Drive came out, I think, in the 1990s, and I think my brother got it for his birthday. But we got not a super hooky one, but it wasn't really legit. So I've still got the box for it.
What? You had a knockoff Mega Drive?
No, we had there's a local character, and so the Mega Drive that we have a box for, that the Mega Drive came in, is one for the Altered Beast bundle. But the one that we got looked like a Mega Drive. I mean, it was a Mega Drive, but it had been modified. And back in the day, that's when basically DRM was, we're going to make our machine a slightly different shape. So the Japanese cartridges were a different shape to our cartridges. Yeah. And so the Mega Drive we got had some clearly garden shed tool modifications.
Oh,
instead of it,
okay.
So it would fit, and God knows what else you might have to do for it to play. I think it played Japanese games. Not too sure if it played American games. NSTC.
NSTC, yeah. Because
and instead of coming with Altered Beast, it came with Sonic 1 in a clear plastic box, no instruction manual, and another clear plastic box with Alex Kidd in whatever, I can't remember which one it was, because that was entirely in Japanese, which is quite tricky because I don't know if you've played Alex Kidd's games.
I only ever played the one which was with the Master System. Do you remember the Master System?
Yeah, I was going to talk about the Master System later.
But Alex Kidd in Miracle Land, I think, actually just came built into the system.
Yeah, so I think
if you didn't have a game, you could just play that.
I think this is Wonderland, maybe, but there's a lot of text in it, and there's, I mean, not that it matters because you're randomly choosing. There's a lot of playing rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
But I guess we worked it out very quickly. But we were just looking at the Japanese characters. So and the cartridges for those two games were not the kind of square edge cartridges; they were round edge cartridges, which Japan had. So that was our hooky, Mega Drive. I mean, it lasted a extremely long time. But you mentioned the Mega System and the Master System, sorry. And this is how I think of the Mega Drive. Again, we were in backwards UK land, so. And unlike the great American narrative, right, which you hear and read about all the time, as the story of video games, it's arcade, it's Atari, it's the crash, bollocks. So that wasn't happening everywhere. But I remember in our family that the Mega Drive was the first kind of console that had a bit more of a presence about it. So we did have a a NES, but I think we had like 3 games. I don't remember ever seeing a NES around or for sale, or in what would have been computer shops there. So before video game specialists, you'd go to the computer shop where you'd buy shit for your Amiga, and then there'd be a game section.
Yeah, I think I got my. I used to look at Argos catalogs an awful lot, and they always used to have NES and Master Systems and things like that.
Yeah, so those didn't really kind of show up on our. It was really with the Mega Drive, and so I always think of the Mega Drive, particularly because the games that we were playing, more as a sequel to the Amiga than the Master System.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
If you didn't have a Master System, didn't see the Master System, and then some of the games we were playing, like James Pond, Double Dragon, Golden Axe, we'd play the first ones on Amigas, and then when the Mega Drive came out, we were playing Double Dragon 2, Golden Axe 2, James Pond, 5. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I definitely think I think the Amiga was 32-bit as well, so it was on a par with the SNES and the what's it called, the Mega Drive. So
yeah, but it's not really how the games looked. It was just I guess for my family, it's just the chronology of
yeah.
We went for Amiga. Yeah, we had a NES kicking around. Yeah, we had a SNES kicking around in 2 games, but it was the Mega Drive was the first one that I remember. There was collectible Sega Mega Drive cards, which I still have. There's like Sonic the Comic came out. You could get a whole range of games. This was when we started going to Blockbuster, so we first hired Mega Drive games. So for us, it was like the first proper console, the one that we treated.
See, I think it was the other way around for me. It's like I had the SNES and played the Mega Drive, and then I got an Amiga, and I just got the full Amiga back catalogue. I was like, oh look, I can play all these Mega Drive games.
Yeah,
that's an interesting story.
With going through a gazillion joysticks.
Yes.
Trying to play them.
Well, that was the other thing. You could just plug your Mega Drive joypad into your Amiga, which is quite cool.
Let's talk about the Mega Drive, the joypad.
Well, first of all, you should really ask me, did I have a Mega Drive?
Oh, you've kind of already... Did you have a Mega Drive?
No! Let's move on.
Whose episode idea was this?
No, look, I didn't have a Mega Drive, but I did. I had a friend, and I did have a friend once,
I didn't have a Mega Drive. I did have a friend.
I did
have
a friend.
The lies just keep coming, yeah.
The lies keep coming. No,
and he saw a Mega Drive once, and he would describe it to you.
Yeah.
In really poetic language.
Yeah, and every single pixel he would describe. Just like the colour of it, the hue. No.
You'd be sat around a burning bin in the main streets of Scotland, and he'd regale you. He'd tell stories of James Pond, this brave fish warrior, through song, and that's how you experienced.
He would recite the Sonic 2 cheat code. No. And what we used to do was swapsies. So I would give him my SNES for a week, and I would get the Mega Drive for a week. And I mean, we did that a few times just to sort of sit down and play the games for yourself. So like, go around to his house and you play Sonic 2. I get stuck playing as Tails. You want to play Sonic 2 properly, not as the stupid fox that keeps dying or going off the screen,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just things like that. So I didn't have the Mega Drive, but I played it a lot. And also post Mega Drive, I have played a lot of the games as well through other emulation means, which we may have touched on before. Yeah.
And now,
of course, the Switch.
Nintendo Switch. Yeah.
And of course, I've got that. I have the other hooky Mega Drive. The little Mega Drive Mini.
Oh yeah, the plug and play one.
Except this is like not the official one. And it's actually got a cartridge slot as well in it as well.
Yeah, I think Sega as well. I think Sega weren't particularly precious about, because it seemed like for a long before, in my mind, before we saw like plug and play Namco collections, plug and play whatever. There's just seemed to be multiple different versions of Mega Drive ones, or ones where you could get like a handful of Mega Drive games. Well before things like NES Mini, SNES Mini, stuff like that. And Sega have been really good over the years at releasing compilations. There's the Sonic collection.
Yeah, it's like
there's two of those, which is a great collection of those games. But also, you could unlock other Mega Drive games. Mega Drive classics they released as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, but remember Sega went in a different direction. They literally went under and said, right, Saturn's the last console we're going to make. We're done. Or no, it wasn't Saturn. It was the Dreamcast.
Yeah, I was going to say they should have.
Yeah, they should. I mean, the Dreamcast, like everyone's got fond memories of, but yeah, it was underpowered and under everything. But yeah,
it did give us Code Veronica, so we can't.
It did give us Code Veronica, and those weird memory cards with the LEDs on it.
Yeah. And Choo Choo Rocket, which always Choo Choo. Anyway.
Yes, so Sega went in a different direction, and they became a lot more like, okay, we'll just release our software on every platform. So that's why they went that. Nintendo weren't going to do that. They're still pushing out hardware, so it's a different.
And this is kind of timely because they've just sold their arcade division.
Have they? Okay.
Yeah, which is really sad because, they kept churning out decent in a couple of the magazines that I read. Yeah, there's an arcade paragraph basically, and you go to proper arcades, or arcades which are well looked after. Even in the backwards UK, they were still kicking out some fantastic arcade games. And yeah, I think Japan's going to feel very different as well. Well, depending on what happens, but
yeah,
it was one of the nice things of walking around Japan, is you'd see Taito and Sega signs and arcades on every corner. Yeah, it was felt like you were walking back in time. Anyway, okay, so thanks for your story. So the Mega Drive Pad, let's talk about that.
Yes. I think, of course, the first thing you do is you compare it to the SNES Pad. And there's probably going to be me saying a lot of comparisons to SNES in this episode, as you can imagine, based on that starting the story as well. I definitely preferred the SNES Pad over the Mega Drive Pad. I always felt that loose D-pad, which is quite similar to how the Xbox 360 first. Remember, they used to get complaints about the Xbox 360 pad being awful. It's the same thing, that used to bug me an awful lot. So I would say that I didn't like that. However, it did have a bit more of a roundedness to it, and it had those little tail fins that you could rest your third finger, ring fingers on. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So you know how Xbox, PlayStation, all that sort of stuff, they have the two handles that you sort of hold on to.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mega Drive had the what was it called? It had just two little tail fins. It was curved and it had
like a boomerang.
Yeah, but you could actually just sort of rest your fingers on that, and that made it nice-ish to hold. But those 6 buttons and the L buttons at the top, I don't know. I think the control pad was too big, too hard to use.
6 buttons.
Yeah.
They only had 3 on the face, right?
No, it had A, B, C, X, Y, Z.
Maybe a hooky one did.
No. Are you looking up a Mega Drive control pad now?
I'm just looking at the MegaDrive control pad you can buy
Oh, okay.
for the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, ABC.
ABC, is that all it has?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of third-party controllers then. Or... Anyway, do talk. I want to check something very quickly.
Is it how many buttons the Mega Drive control? So, given what you just said about how the Mega Drive fat in with your cutting your teeth as a gamer, I would think it was the other way around. So for me, it still affects me today. I was much happier with the 3 buttons rather than the 2 and 2 that the SNES had. And I still have issues with it in some games on the Switch if I'm switching between the gamepad and Joy-Cons for some reason. I'm never 100% sure where X or Y. Which one's X, which one's Y. Tracing it back, I think, to the Sega days. Yeah, it was a good pad. And although the soft D-pad was rubbish for some games, quite good for other kinds as well. So I found it easier to do your Hadoukens and whatnot, but then I found it much harder when you just want to walk, particularly that Golden Axe, where you just want to walk straight. You don't want to drift up or drift down or jump off the edge of a cliff. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm having a little look into the controllers. I get what you're saying as well. Like, I think there was different ways to sort of play with the controller, and yeah, like doing the Hadoukens on those ones, absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying. You can get used to it, but I don't know. I think the low profile and being able to sort of smoothly sort of run your finger across the pad as opposed to keeping your finger static and moving around. I don't know. There are pros and cons to both. So yes, looking at the controllers, we're both right. The controllers.
No, we're not both right.
Yeah, no, we are.
No, we're not.
The controller that you get with the Mega Drive,
Yeah,
is ABC only.
yeah.
But Sega have official models, official, not third-party hooky ones, which have the XYZ as well.
Next, you'll be saying turbo buttons are legit as well.
No, absolutely not. No. This is.
Yeah. No. Let's talk about the 3 buttons. OG.
Please stop. You're. I am genuinely right here. Please don't. They both came with both. I know that you do get hooky ones, and I actually found the hooky one that I remember playing with, which had, instead of the XYZ buttons, it had these sort of flat start select buttons above them. Minging. And yes, it had like turbo and shit like that on it. But no, there was Mega Drive 6-button controllers. Look it up. It's a thing. It's official. I don't know why. What games would use it? I think it was maybe fighty games or something like that. Because things like Street Fighter, you had to have 6 buttons at least, including the shoulder buttons. So in SNES, you would get the light punch, hard punch, medium kick, heavy kick and heavy punch would be the shoulder buttons. So I think it was they brought in more buttons, and then eventually that means that they had 8 buttons. You know, more than the SNES. But trust me, it was definitely a thing.
Oh yeah, it's a thing, but it's not. It's like, you know, talking about dual shock pads. We talk about PlayStation.
Yeah. Like, so it's like the Dolphin, the Wave controller. for the, it wasn't official. Like, yeah, no, it was official. It came from Nintendo, but it didn't come with the
it's a iteration, a later thing.
Yeah. So just and that's why I remember it. Like, I remember it with the 6 buttons. That's all.
Which I think came out with one of the models.
Yeah, I think like the Mega Drive 3 or something like that, or the Mega Drive 2 with the 32-bit CD or Mega CD or whatever.
Yeah, with the arcade.
But let's not go into too much about that, because is that interesting to talk about? Did you have the Mega CD, or did you have the...
No.
Did you have the Mega Drive 2?
No, we didn't. And I don't think there was much reason to get it.
There was none. There was zero. My mate, or my friend back then, my mate, he actually sold his Mega Drive to get the Mega Drive 2.
Oh yeah, the different iterations. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
And like they had, there's a bit of colour to the Mega Drive 2, but the Sega CD or the Mega CD and what's the other shit you could attach to it as well?
Because you could get the Mega CD for the original Mega Drive as well, and it made it was like a big platform that it sat on.
Yeah.
And then the Mega Drive 2 was basically like DJ decks. You had your Mega Drive 2, and then next to it you had the Mega CD, and you had to sort of put it onto the platform. So the Mega CD had this raised box on the right hand side, and then a flat platform that you plugged your Mega Drive 2 into.
Yeah.
I
was just looking at the number of titles, because it's really only through emulation that I've touched anything on the Sega CD. Or 32 games. There's 205 Sega CD titles. 57 were Japan only, 39 were North America only, 5 were Europe only.
5?
Yeah.
Oh, we're Europe only, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. It was on my list. And I don't know if I appreciated it at the time.
No, we definitely didn't. It's because we didn't have enough exposure. But like, there was genuinely UK people churning out games.
There were a lot of UK only games.
But they made
I don't
know. That's quite cool.
Yeah, including I was looking down the big list on the Wikipedia. This is how in-depth our research is.
On the Wikipedia. Yeah.
Like 3 out of 4 of the Micro Machines games didn't come out outside of Europe.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, which is perhaps why it's not spoken of with the same regard when you hear American people talking about their formative games.
Yeah.
Because we had 5 of them, I think. All but the first one were Japan and America. So yeah, I didn't appreciate that. But obviously that again, it fits in nicely with my family story about the Mega Drive, and that it was something we would come across a lot more, rather than going to your local computer shop and there being 2 SNES games, neither of which you'd heard of. Do you want to punt? So whatever it was, 60 quid on this game with some curious box art. Could be really good, could be awful, could be Stunt Race FX, could be Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many games, if you don't know, do you reckon the Mega Drive had over its lifetime?
400.
713.
Okay.
Yeah. More than I thought. But
yeah.
I did, and I know I said this about the PlayStation a lot. I look back to the PlayStation as a platform where there seemed to be, they're just experimenting with all kinds of different games. And I think the same is kind of true of the Mega Drive as well. Although a little bit more restricted. So most things were some kind of platformer.
Yes.
The vast majority of things, well, the games that
And
we
most
played.
of them were like ocean platformers as well. The licensed ones that we've talked about before, yeah.
But you could get many different flavors and styling of platformer.
Yeah.
We weren't really into sports games at all. I think we maybe played one of the NHL games, like NHL 95. But yeah, we mostly played it for the other kind of micro machines, and then the rest are different degrees of a character is walking on a platform. Sometimes you're punching other characters in the face on that platform. Sometimes you're collecting beans or 7-Up bits.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the games.
Let's talk about the games. Should we get the big one out of the way?
The big one. Okay, go on.
Yeah. Well, Sonic.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I have more memories of Sonic 2 than I do of Sonic.
Yeah, I don't know. We had this hooky Sonic 1, which wasn't English, on a Japanese cartridge. And then I think maybe we didn't have Sonic 2, but then we definitely had Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. The other ones, I don't remember. I played Mean Bean Machine much, much, much later. I don't think we played at the time. And then was there another one? Sonic Spinball.
Yeah, I mean, let's just stick to Sonic the platform rather than the spin-off games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great games.
Yeah, I suppose like that was the game that I always wanted to play. That was the one like, can I borrow your Mega Drive? I'll give you my SNES. Because I basically wanted to play Sonic 2, and I do remember like just staying up ridiculously late in the morning, just basically fucking around with the Sonic 2 level editor cheat thing.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, I just spent so long, and it was so fun to put that cheat code in because you had to like listen to certain tracks in the BGM.
Yeah.
You know, so like, what did it stand for? Big game music?
Background music.
Background music. Okay. Big game music.
Big game music.
Like big band music, except for the game.
You got BGM, and then your sound effects is LGM. Big game music, and then the little noises are little game music.
Right. Anyway, so you used to just choose those different things, and you'd have to listen to each one, and then you go back for. I can't even remember what the code is, but then it opens up this massive, just back end to the whole of Sonic 2. Choose whatever level you want to go into. You press a button, you turn into things. You can make all of the items that are part of that level. So each level had its own selection of items that you could turn into and create and place. And yeah, that was cool. I did enjoy that an awful lot. I got Sonic 2 on the 360 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember it came out like as a separate thing by itself?
Yeah, and then for a while, I think there's some. You still find them on the Nintendo eShop. It's almost like they license. They'd kind of be called stuff like arcade classics through another company.
Okay.
Nintendo did the same as well on its own machine. But yeah, I remember a lot of the Sega, a lot of the Mega Drive stuff you'd be able to buy, but it was a weird selection of it. It wasn't everything.
Yeah. It's like on Steam they've got a similar thing where it's like buy it or you get the Genesis for free. The Genesis, that's probably why I call it Steam. You get the Genesis thing there, and basically that gives you a platform to then spend £1.79 on a selection of what's it called, Mega Drive classics like Kid Chameleon and all that sort of stuff. You know?
Yeah, none of which I play. Shinobi I didn't play. Kid Chameleon I didn't play.
I played Kid Chameleon. But I think it was like one of these ones that you've rented, you know.
What was the other? There's a jumping Capcom man, Strider.
Strider, yeah.
Yeah, didn't play that either.
I think I played the sequel to it, the 3D one on the 360, and enjoyed it because I used to like Strider as a character in Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I know. There were a couple of characters that's like, oh yeah, I think I went to the the Red Devil guy in Marvel vs. Capcom.
The Red Devil guy.
Yeah.
Is this Marvel vs. Capcom 2?
I don't know. One of them.
Is it not Omega Crimson Dynamo?
No.
Omega Supreme or
literally a Red Devil guy.
A Red Devil guy. Okay, yeah. Let me check the roster and tell me about the Red Devil guy.
I just typed in Red Devil guy. not coming up. Red.
No, go on. Tell me about him.
Red Arama
Red Adam
from Demon's Crest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw him in Marvel's Capcom. Ooh, who is he? And you can play his game on the SNES emulator on the Switch, and it's really fucking hard.
Yeah, probably. A lot of these games were ridiculously hard, and I think that's what I remember a lot about the what's it called? The SNES being the sort of the kids version, and the Mega Drive being the grown up version. And I think it was partly because there was a difficulty curve with a lot of these games as well. Not that they were good; they were probably quite shite, you know.
Well, you know, I'd say to those people back in the day, go jump onto your Switch and go and play the first 5 minutes of Demon Crest on the SNES. You start in a caged arena with a huge dragon. Just fireballs you to death before you work out what you're supposed to do. Anyway, Sonic. I really like that series. And there's a lot about it which kind of became the Sega hallmark, right? The big, bold colours, the amazing music. You know, that kicking off with the Sega.
Yes.
Which, you know, you still get a bit tingly about when you hear it these days.
Yeah.
And it's really, I say it was, it's less hard now, but it was really hard if you'd been used to, you know, played Sonic 1, then 2, then 3, and Sonic and Knuckles. And then when you went back, it was quite hard to play 1 because you didn't have the down spinning, you know, the charge up spin.
Yep.
You didn't have the temporary shield.
Genuinely, it was worth getting like all of those extra things that were added in, and 100%, yeah.
And then you know, despite the fact that Sonic's all about speed and you've got to go fast, some of those levels are really slow. The second world, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
Is it Marble Garden? Maybe. It's really slow. It's you pushing a block onto some lava, standing on the block, watching it slowly go across, jump off. Then you got like the falling spikes in the ceiling. Wait for those to go down.
God, yeah,
wait for them to go up, jump up. Whereas, you know, later games is all about, well, go right as fast as you can. Sometimes we'll send you left if we're crazy.
Yeah, you'll swirl around and
yeah.
No, like one thing I would say is like I obviously had played Sonic 2 an awful lot because when I played it on the 360, I did die out a fair bit, but I got to the Cyber Sonic and Robotnik final boss, so it was good, but certainly did not collect all of the Chaos Emeralds or anything like that. Did you ever do that first time round in the Sonic 2?
I'm not too sure about Sonic 2. Sonic 3 we did kind of put in a lot of time to do all of that business. Sonic 1 I can't remember if we did, and there's some really nice with the Mega Drive Collection, which is released on a number of platforms. The emulator is like a 90s bedroom.
Yes, that's really cool. Yeah.
So it's really cool because you've got your game selection on the right hand side. You've got your game posters up, and you can choose, what level of CRT fidelity you want when you're playing your games. But what's really cool is there are a whole bunch of challenges for these different games, and one of them, because there aren't all 4 Sonic games on there for whatever mad reason. Maybe unlock them, I don't know. I've not put a huge amount of time into it. But one of them is basically you have to get every Chaos Emerald as soon as you can. Yeah. So, one in Act 1, one in Act 2, one in Act... And then one in Act 1 and Act 2, or Act 1 Act 2, so you can be...
Supersonic as quick as you can, and it's underwhelming.
A little achievement pings.
Yeah.
That'd be quite a difficult check, because, it's heartbreaking when if you know the level layouts and you lose your rings seconds before you hit that thing. Or if you're going so fast, the big ring appears at the end of the level and you can't get back in time to jump through it.
Yep.
which happens. I think it's Sonic 2, isn't it? In Sonic 1, you go to the zone. Is it the zone over the checkpoints?
I don't think Sonic 1 had Supersonic, did it?
It didn't have Supersonic, but it had the weird maze type minigame. Remember the music?
Yeah.
With the really trippy background where there'd be like rainbow ducks. And you'd be desperately trying to channel a rolling Sonic. And then in Sonic 2, it's the famous half pipe to get your Chaos Emeralds. And then in Sonic 3 was that 3D Red Bull madness. You're running on a huge planet and you've got to turn all the red balls, all the blue balls red.
Oh god.
But then you have to do, in order to, sometimes there'll be a line of them, so you just run straight to the line. But sometimes there'll be a square, so you have to do the outside of the square to turn all the inside ones into rings in order to get, super stressful. Cool. So I do like the Sonic games. I do like the trajectory on the MegaDrive, and then kind of loses its way after that, and that loses me as well. I think I came back to the series with Sonic Heroes, Sonic Rush.
I haven't even bothered coming back to the series because all it is I don't know. There is a bunch of furry characters. I think the closest I've come back to the Sonic series is All Star Racing.
Yeah.
Which
is very good.
Sega All-Star. Yeah.
We've said it's our favourite kart racing game because you could co-op it and earn experience. It's really fun.
It's a good kart game. But I think because I never got Sonic 3 and I only ever played the Sonic 2 with Knuckles once. I thought that was so cool that you got the cartridge that you plugged into another cartridge and you can now play as Knuckles, and no way, this is cool. And then you play it and you're just kind of like, I kind of wish it was Sonic. But still, that is quite a cool add-on to the game.
Yeah,
and literally an add-on.
Yeah.
We talked far too much about Sonic. There was more games than Sonic on the Mega Drive. Is there anything else you want to say about Sonic?
What else do I want to say about Sonic? Apparently Sonic Generations is really good. I think about getting that again. I'd like to try it. Me and my brother one Christmas, again, after late into the night, we're trying maybe Sonic 2. And those games aren't as easy as perhaps people think.
No.
It starts to get really difficult when everything is lava and lasers and bosses.
Or drowny. Very drowny.
Drowny, yeah. Or bottom of the screen. Bottom of the screen down.
That's it. Yeah. Sorry, I'll stop.
And the bosses.
Yeah, no, the bosses were really, really tough. I remember spending a long time on Robotnik. And just that is really, really brutal because you struggle with Cybersonic.
Yeah.
And then immediately after you are onto Robotnik, and you used to have to cheese it. You were just cheesing it.
Juggling that one ring.
Yeah,
entire
exactly.
entire fight.
You get to Cybersonic, you're like, yeah, I've got 58 rings. Oh no, I've been hit. Oh shit, I only managed to get one of them.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, right, okay.
You're just hoping it doesn't bounce off the screen or slowly flashes away.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the other side of Robotnik,
yeah. But what was good about those is the first time, there's very good with most Robotnik boss fights. Struggle the first time you get there. Then once you work it out, you can do it really quickly.
Yeah, I know. That was the thing. It's like you used to take more risks, where you would the first time you do it, you'd hit Robotnik once, and then you'd hide, let him do about 3 or 4 of his
do his pattern, and then when it was safe, by the end you're like, oh, actually I can get him 3 times on the way in.
3 times, and then I can get him again on this one, and then I only need to hit him one more time,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, cool. Sonic
good
done.
Games.
Yeah, it was a good game, absolutely. I don't think it can be recaptured. That's the problem with all of these extra new games and Sonic 4s and all this sort of stuff. Just like it was of its time. And let's just move on.
I don't know. Rush was very good, and as I've said many times, the Lego Dimensions Sonic bit is probably the best recent Sonic game that I've played. There's a proper love letter to it all. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
Super fun. Give us a game.
Space Harrier 2.
Space Harrier 2. See, I only played Space Harrier 1 on the Amiga.
Okay.
And then
on the
every
Amiga?
now, every now and then, because it's one of those games that is synonymous with the Mega Drive and that era of games. So I try it. And it's just really hard.
It's so hard.
It's
so hard. And that's the thing. Like, it was one of these ones. Again, I think my mate had like 2 games at the start, and one of them was Sonic 2. The other one was Space Harrier 2. And Space Harrier, like, the wonder of that game is when you do manage to get past the horrible. It's basically a first-person bullet hell. It's so. It's
a first-person bullet hell where, basically where someone is holding forward for you entirely.
Yeah. Like, so you just need to sort of swivel around, but you're rewarded by fucking crazy, trippy stuff. It's like, oh, I've got past this enemy. Now, okay, it's a giant floaty head, and it's sending slime trees at me. Just like, what the fuck is this game? The things that you fought and shot, just the proper. It's just like it is. That was like the introduction to crazy Japanese culture. Just this is fucking mental. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, very late 80s, early 90s. That's when it was released. Just trippy,
Completely
why you would
nuts.
do? What is this like? There's mountains in the background, but then here's a snake made up of women's heads.
Yeah.
A 3-faced floating turtle. Yeah, I mean, was there ever any pretense of a story? I wonder what the story in the booklet was. I could probably look it up.
Well, I mean, like the box art has this sort of straight-laced guy in a red suit, and it does have a giant floating lady head with a snake. But like Cyclops mammoths and oh god, it was all
okay. Do you want the? I've looked up the instruction book. Do you want the?
Okay, good. Yeah, give us the premise.
Space Harrier 2. There's 3 paragraphs, but I won't read all 3. The year is 6236.
Okay, that's quite far into the future.
Yeah, no 20XX here. Just fucking straight into 6236. Space is your battlefield, and destructive force is your enemy once again, as Space Harrier confronts another crisis in Space Harrier 2.
His name is Space Harrier.
Space Harrier, yeah.
I wish it was Space Harry.
I mean, is that the name of his unit, or was he Land Harrier?
Is that the name of his unit?
Before he got into space?
Yeah. This was maybe that was what the lives are. It's like
yeah. But it's kind of weird because the game is Space Harrier 2, which is named after the guy. But anyway, only this time,
it's named after Sonic.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Only this time, the call for help comes from somewhere deep in the universe, the 214th sector, which is light years from your cruiser, apparently on a ship. However, you're armed with the Cosmic Gate, a special teleportation device, so you're there in moments, and what you see is disastrous. Fantasyland is unrecognisable. What's clear are enemy forces, lots of them coming at you from everywhere, and there's only you and your laser. This is going to be a tough assignment at which to succeed, whether your rapid fire is on or off. There we go.
Yeah. Rapid fire, was that endorsing the turbo button?
Can't remember. You played it. I did not play it very successfully at all.
Yeah, no, I do remember like rattling the buttons and things like that. And yeah, all I remember is we really spent ages struggling to get past certain enemies, and as you did, your reward was, oh my god, there's giant Easter Island heads floating towards us. How do I beat the giant floating Easter Island heads, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a very, very crazy game. Nothing really like it today. I mean, you get remakes. I suppose Rez is probably
yeah, and all the
Is
Jeff
that
Minter
today?
games, right? All those Jeff Minter games have that same
wackiness.
amount.
I think they've got more of a British wackiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
know,
definitely the same.
like the only reason those Jeff Minter games are wacky in that fashion is because British people think it's fun to say the word llama, Lamatron.
Oh look, there's a space llama. Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I everything about me wants to hate them, but they are good games.
Yeah, they are.
Good games. I played like one.
Lamatron is solid. Was that the one that you played?
I think so. Yeah, I lose track because it's still cracking them out.
Revenge of the Mutant Camels. That was the other one.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, Space Harrier. Is it co-op?
I feel like it was, but every screenshot I've looked at, there was not two people on it. So I guess it was maybe a life each co-op. You know how they used to do games like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose it's kind of like Mario and Luigi in Super Mario World. Remember when we played that?
Yeah.
I still have that save file, by the way. We should continue on from there.
Yeah, good. Finish it off. Right, one of my games, and a game that I've mentioned many times before. I think it's one of my Desert Island discs with a K selection. But I've learned some new information about it today. So this is my first. So the MegaDrive was my brother's. So this is my first, my game. And I don't know why I picked it. I think it was a limited selection at Blockbuster. I like the box art. It's Faithful Labyrinth. Did you know, Rishu, that the MegaDrive could go online?
I did not.
So in Japan, there were plans to release it in America, but they never came out. There's this thing called the Sega MegaNet. And so there are a bunch of... you'd buy the kind of MegaNet, essentially like your modem. And there are a bunch of MegaNet exclusive games that you could download to play. And there are a couple of games you could play online.
It's kind of like the Euros, maybe?
Sorry?
A little bit like the Euros.
The Net Euros?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a dev PlayStation?
Well, there was a PlayStation that you could buy. It went online and you could share code with each other and make little games. That's why you got those Net Euros games. It was more for geeky, codey people to have a PlayStation to play with.
Yeah, but it was sold as a now you can make your own.
Yeah.
So that's how Fatal Labyrinth started its life. So there are a whole bunch. I'm sure, hopefully, emulated people have saved them. There are a whole bunch of games that never got a cartridge release. They were own Sega Mega Net only. So don't miss this. So that's how Fatal Labyrinth started. Fatal Labyrinth. It was a cool rogue game. Dungeons, planet swaps, beasties to fight through.
Yeah.
Tough as nails. Really enjoyed it. It got bundled into the MegaDrive collection. I occasionally play it.
Sorry, what was it called?
Fatal Labyrinth.
Fatal Labyrinth. Oh, right, okay. For some reason, I thought that was like the name of the sort of thing that you logged into. Okay, so that was the actual name of the game.
Yeah.
Fatal Labyrinth. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Never
Started.
Yeah.
Started as a DLC downloadable game, and when it came over here, it got a cartridge release.
Oh, that's a Cinderella story.
Yeah, and I remember one of the really fucky things about it. So, you would have palette swap enemies, and it was quite cool because when you start off with a leather helm, and then when you picked up a steel helm, or whatever, your little character model would change with those.
Love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, those little details. And there'd be scrolls and potions to pick up. But sometimes there were potions that would screw with you as well.
Oh, okay.
Bring you down to body life. Challenging. I've never beaten it, but I will endeavour to. Apparently there aren't that many floors.
Okay.
But it's a bit of luck. It's a rogue. So that was my first Mega Drive game that I owned. Purely picked because of the box. The box. Because that's literally all we had to go on. In the Blockbuster.
Cool. Yeah, no, I kind of remember that. But yeah, I think it's... Yeah. Like, you talked about that exact game. I don't know why I mixed up a Fatal Labyrinth there. I just brain farted entirely.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool. Now, one other thing, when I was looking into Mega Drive games, there was a lot of light gun releases. Do you remember, or did you have the light gun for the Mega Drive?
The Menacer, yeah. We friend down the road had it, and it was cool.
The Menacer.
Yeah, the Menacer. And for years, until I downloaded the Mega Drive Classic Collection for the Switch, I thought that was Toe Jam and Earl's genuine game. So the Menacer came with, I think, 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
3 of which were utter trash. I remember that. There was one where you had to squash bugs, so you'd move the Menacer around like a spotlight. Really bad.
Yeah.
But there's a game called Ready Aim Tomatoes, which was Toe Jam and Earl themed.
Wow.
It's like very wacky, emphasis on the wacky, and that was brilliant. Yeah, and like I say, I thought that when people talked about Toe Jam and Earl, I thought they would talk about that game. And then when I actually played one of the Toe Jam and Earls, Escape from Funky Town or whatever it's called, I was like, what the hell's this game? It's like a roguelike game. Where is the tomato stuff? Yeah, that's the Menace. I can't remember the other games. But I do remember we what was the NES one? Super
the
Scope?
Duck Hunt and the Super Scope for the SNES.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the there's the bazooka one that you had on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
What
the Super
happened
Scope.
to ridiculous light guns like that? How come we just ended up with pistols? And I guess the Wii one was quite good because the Menace was like crazy.
Yeah, it had the kickback thing that you put on your shoulder as well.
Yeah, and the
and the little binoculars that you
yeah. And then the super scope was like that shoulder mounted thing.
The super scope was absolutely nuts, and it was weird because like the games that you got for it were Blastrous, basically Tetris, that you shot the blocks away. There wasn't really much in the way of shooty that came with the Nintendo scope.
Yeah, but looking at these games, I can't remember any of Rockman Zone. Shoot criminals, like a
the
police shooting gallery.
Yeah.
There's a breakout game, Whackball.
Wow.
Yeah. You shoot the ball as it bounces. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, light gun games on the Genesis Mega Drive, the Menacer. That's so cool. I actually just had a note about the light gun games. I remember that. Then you said the Menacer, and it just straight it hit me right in the nostalgia. I was just like, oh, I forgot that was a thing, and then that was an amazing piece of kit.
Yeah. Well, Sega haven't had a Super Smash Brothers to keep the name Menacer in your consciousness like we.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rob the Robot. Which I wouldn't even have thought about, except that Smash Brothers is constantly telling me about it, that it exists. Mr. Game & Watch, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. Other games. I mean, I don't want to go into too much depth about things like Alter Beast and Golden Axe. We've touched on them as much as they need to be. They were good. They were this 2D platformers. Is there anything
I'd really still like in our fantasy world where we actually play co-op games together. I'd like you and I to give Golden Axe 2 a good go.
Golden Axe 2? Okay.
Yeah. Those games are fun. And I like
I like them as well. I kind of feel that. Do you remember the Capcom game pack? Did you get the Capcom game pack?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, like all of the games in that, I consider a lot more fun than Golden Axe in some cases as well. Definitely.
I think because I like that. In my mind, Golden Axe and Streets of Rage are, like
they're synonymous with each other.
Fallout. Yeah, the Fallout and the Skyrim of.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And there were shared elements like, arcade chickens. But what I liked about Golden Axe 2 was the magic system. But the little, I think they had it in Golden Axe 2. The little bonus stages where you kick the shit out of those little goblins.
Yeah.
But it would be panicky because you knew they were only on the screen for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Really help you to kick them to get health and potions, but it was really difficult to do it because they were moving between the planes and you were desperately trying to move between the planes as well. But I think with those games, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, probably most of the ones on the Capcom pack you talked about, then unless you remember them really well, they're not really games you can kind of just like drop in and out of. You have to learn your best strategies to get through it.
I think
and it helps if you're playing co-op to keep each other going, but also for the crowd control element. So it's like a genre of game that's really hard to play on your own.
I mean, they were super forgiving with those Capcom packs because they were supposed to be like the arcades, and therefore I was kind of like, do you want to just play it with infinite credits? I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Get to the end of the game. Consider myself happy to have played through it.
Yeah.
I might not have played brilliantly, but it's less of a less hanging over you. And plus, I mean, that's the thing with those games. There was no password system. There was no saving. It was you put in your quarter. I was about to say. Yeah, you put in your your quarter, and then you get your life. Your
50p.
Yeah. unless you keep pumping money in, you're not going to get to the end. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I played Golden Axe all the way through. Played Golden Axe 2 all the way through. I put it on the other day, and you get to the way those games work. Is the guys at the end of the first level end up just becoming your mid boss. You're just in a fight with the boss. The first time you come across them, you just got utterly destroyed. They hit you twice and you're dead. You're like, Christ, okay. Guess you just don't get hit is the strategy. But yeah,
exactly.
You
need to learn these ridiculous. And the thing is, they're not even consistent either, because they wouldn't have just normal patterns. They would hunt you out, which you had to lure and like. That's the thing. Like when you.
They could also.
Yeah. Fixate on one.
They could also disappear off the screen.
Yes.
For a bit.
Yes, that happens a lot in those Capcom games. Straight up,
Not too sure where you are. Oh, okay. You've moved to the plane below, and you can hit me, even though I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Golden Age and Streets of Rage. Golden Axe and Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same.
Streets of Rax. Golden Age.
Golden Age and Streets of Rax. Of course, for a short time you were Streets of Rage 2's single player mode world champion.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that anymore?
Billy Big Balls. I've got people like you to tell everyone. It's fine.
Interestingly, with both of those, I prefer the second game to the third game.
Yeah, I think they made the changes you wanted in the sequels, and then the third one they just felt they had to make changes. So it kind of deviated away from what you wanted it to be, which happens with lots of games. Yeah. Shall we talk about another game?
Yeah.
Have you heard of a little title called Mortal Kombat? It's just an interesting thing, because one of the arguments that often comes up when you're talking about SNES versus Mega Drive is
how often are you having an argument about SNES and Mega Drive?
Oh, I mean,
in your head?
On me, in my head constantly. No, but on like internet forums and stuff like that. And Mortal Kombat tends to be this weird benchmark. So the first one was unequivocally better on the Sega systems, purely because they had blood and gore. Nintendo didn't allow that at that point. And then Mortal Kombat 2 came out, and Nintendo went miles ahead as the better version. Faster, better, got the blood in it, all, smoother. So you can do like these comparisons on YouTube, and people talk about that. So an interesting point. I think I played Mortal Kombat 1 on the Mega Drive, and I think I remember it was a little bit queasy. It's like, all the blood. This is a bad boys game. Do you know what I mean?
Or like a naughty boys game.
Yeah, naughty boy.
Yeah.
But then I got it on the Amiga on the 6 discs. But we shan't go into too much depth about that, because season 1, I think I said it a few hundred times.
Oh yeah, a few hundred times. Every other episode, I think.
Yeah.
But you brought up one of the games which naturally drew SNES versus Mega Drive comparison.
Yeah.
Another game which did the same was Aladdin.
Yes. So the Disney games are like, it's another thing that I really liked about the Mega Drive, was the sheer amount of Disney games, and it even started in the Master System. Did you ever play Castle Illusion? Yeah, that was really, really cool, and it was so creepy, and yet it was Disney as well. That's well worth a revisit. Is there a Castle of Illusion level in Kingdom Hearts? If not, there really should be.
Yeah. can't remember if it was visited. I was so disappointed with Epic Mickey and Epic Mickey 2.
I just remembered the hype. That this was like the hype started when we were like starting the blog as well with Epic Mickey.
Yeah, because it was it Warren Spector was involved, and they really created this narrative of like this, this auteur who has this deep respect for the Disney history and Oswald the Rabbit, and it was going to be, great Warren Spector, Epic Mickey, and it came out and just was not very good. Let alone it got a handheld sort of subscription. Yeah, Disney and Warner Brothers got really good outings on MegaDrive.
Yeah,
Quackshot, brilliant with the shooting plungers.
Yes.
Mechanic. Aladdin was great. Tailspin, various Mickey games.
Yeah.
And then on the Warner Brothers side, Tasmania, Taz Escape from Mars, and Daffy Duck in Hollywood.
Yes.
All of which were good, and all of which were solid, difficult games. I remember
that's the thing. Yes, they were all
played,
really, really hard games. And Castle.
We played Aladdin.
You get lost in it.
Pass the pad for Aladdin. It was that difficult.
Yeah. I can't play this anymore. You try and get past this bit.
Yeah.
Those were the words.
Yeah, fuck this flying carpet level. Ooh, it was before we were saying fuck, really. Flip this flying carpet level. You have a go.
Gosh darn it, this is hard.
With the MIDI versions of the theme tune in the background.
Yeah. Yep.
Great platforming games from both the big cartoon companies, and I fondly remember those. I lost the way after that. Micro Machines. I don't know if you ever played Micro Machines.
I did, but it was one of those ones where my friend who had the Mega Drive, he practiced it an awful lot. So it was kind of a case of when I played it, I was never ever going to be as good as him.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the Red Queen situation. And Micro Machines is one of those games where you can get better. There's no forgiveness level there. There's like, you will be stuck behind everybody else whilst the AI keeps up with the person, in first place.
Yeah.
Catch-up mechanics don't exist. You just need to get good. There's no blue shells. There's no stars to get back to the front. It's just, So I liked it, but it was also a point of frustration as well.
Yeah, Microchips is great. We talked about this before, but they had those J carts where they had controller ports in them.
So you could plug into it.
Yeah, plug into them, and then in later games you could play 8 players. You'd share a pad, which is particularly chaotic. Like I said earlier, we got Micro Machines 2 Turbo Tournament 96, and Micro Machine Military. Didn't play that last one. And it was just really fun, partly for the novelty of, racing around the breakfast table. Yeah. But as you mentioned, I think this is the first one. There was a single player mode, and there was a big. Do you remember you used to get these collection trays for your Micro Machines? They look like a big ice cube tray, and you put your cars in. And so, in the single player, the aim was to keep winning races, and then you'd fill out this collection tray. I think this is an original, and it was fucking hard, really, really hard to play single player. Because my brother was like a racing game fiend, and I think this is probably one of the few racing games that actually defeated him, because you just had to keep going and going and going, And as you mentioned, the AI would run a really tight line, and it's certainly in the early micro machines. It's a bit more forgiving when it came to V3 on the PlayStation. You're racing around a breakfast table. So there's Cheerios which make the outside of the ring, and the physics was such that if you're driving around and you hit, I don't know, a bourbon, or normally it's like a spoon hanging.
Yeah.
You just that was you lost.
Yeah,
because you slew down.
And there were so many games like that, even on the Amiga and the SNES as well, where it was just like the racing game was, you have to be better or as good as the AI. We're going to make them just a little fraction slower, but they're going to do a perfect line.
Yeah.
Don't fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. The only advantage you had over them is basically you jostled them off the course.
Yeah, you could do things to mess them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you had to race the perfect line forevermore.
Yep.
Are we on to honourable mentions now?
Yeah, let's just run the honourable mentions. You talked about NFL. Don't you mean Madden?
No, NHL. I said.
Oh, NHL. Ah, okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we were always
from downtown.
Of the two sports that make no sense in this country, we were always hockey fans rather than football fans.
It's actually my brother had two games. He had Sonic 1 and Madden, and I remember playing both whilst eating for the first time in my life Pizza Hut Meat Feast pizza.
Oh man, you were firmly in the 90s.
Yeah, firmly in the 90s, sitting there cross-legged in front of a CRT TV, and I was having a go at Madden and having no clue what was going on.
Yeah,
no idea. You can't even brute force that game just to say, how do I win? You
can't. I had the same experience recently. I thought I'm going to play through all those NES games on Nintendo Switch, and so eventually you come across I think it's Tecmo Bowl.
Yep.
And it's impenetrable. Your first screen is like a diagram of 8 different formations. Like, what does this mean? Is it like
someone once broke it down how to play these games, and it made sense when they explained it to me. Think of it as a mixture of chess and football. So, in chess, what you want to do is you want to try, you want to make a play, and that's the thing. So you're choosing the play that you want to do, and how well you execute that will move you slightly further up the field.
Yeah,
and so the counter to that is how you can make a play to try and push further in the other direction, counter those plays, and that's where it gets there. And understanding that from any high level that isn't just a gamer jumping into it is completely unreasonable,
But it doesn't make for a good sport to watch, let alone play on a sim.
Yeah, I like it because what it does mean is it's not the players just randomly kicking a ball to each other and hoping for the best. The plays that are getting called means that the manager / coach person is actually the smart person who's playing the chess. It's the people with the physical prowess that just have to do it the way he says. And that gave
6
me,
hours.
Yeah, that gave me a better, deeper understanding or appreciation for American football over, say, rugby and football. Whereas we think of it as a dumb sport. And I can't believe that the casual American, as we would expect it, understands these plays, understands these rules. Like, we have like the offside rule, which everybody jokes, oh, nobody understands it. It's like, this is a game of nothing but fucking offside rules, and we make fun of Americans for being stupid,
Yeah. At least a football match is over in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
The average NFL game takes 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
you get the halftime shows and people are into it and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
But no wonder there's like 400 people on the squad. Anyway, Yeah, never. NHL we liked, and I think it was during the Mega Drive era, where they started to model maybe it was even earlier, but you'd have fights, so they actually modelled the fights into the game.
That's cool. Yeah, you got
fun.
some like pixel thing of somebody bashing their face into the wall.
Yeah, well, it becomes like a hockey game, and then every now and then it becomes a really, really bad beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Where you basically got 3 opportunities to punch him in the face, and you both end up in the sin bin. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the sports games, and of course that was the advent of EA Sports.
Yeah. PGA, was that another EA Sports game?
Yep. It wasn't until the PlayStation though that you got like the pro golf ones, and you actually got like Peter Alice doing the voiceovers and stuff like that. Really enjoyed those games.
I seem to remember that EA towards the end had funny cartridges. With they did. They had cartridges with the yellow tag on the corner. Do you remember those?
No. What did the yellow tag do?
I don't know. It was just a different cartridge.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
Maybe it was a Genesis rather than Mega Drive. Yeah.
Anyway.
I only ever saw it on the EA cards. Do you have any more honourable mentions?
There's one which I have a fair love for. The Bonanza Brothers.
Okay.
Did you ever play that one?
No, I didn't.
So Bonanza Brothers was like they were two basically like minions, one short one, one long one. And
oh yeah, yeah. Did you talk about these? No. Oh my god, that's so familiar, but I've never actually played the game.
I think I have talked about this before. I bet we've done a Mega Drive podcast before, and we're all
just every time we do it, our memories get slightly worse.
Yeah. We'll start talking about the Menacer again. So basically, it's two guys that are trying to rob banks or buildings, and you've got to co-op this entire game, and you have to like startle the police and hide from them. And yeah, it's really good co-op fun, but it's hard as well. So it's well worth playing at some point.
Yeah, I'd love to. It looks great. It really does. It kind of has that spy versus spy feel.
Yes, exactly that.
Top
I think
and
it was a sort of play on Spy versus Spy.
Yeah, and I love the models. They look like the guys from the Dire Straits video.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, if those guys were made of Lego, what were their names? Do you remember?
Bo and Bonanza? I don't know.
Mobo and Robo.
Mobo and Robo. Okay. No, I don't remember off the top of my head. And I don't think I even delved into the backstory of them. But yeah.
Great. Oh, I bet it wasn't whatever it was, 6425.
Yeah.
You are the Space Harrier. Cool. Good shout. I'd like to give that a try.
I wonder, is that one of the ones that's made it onto the Switch? Probably not.
No. That'd be cool. You did online co-op.
No, my other honourable mentions, they're all there, that we talked about. That's it from me, really. What about you?
My honourable mentions are these are all different flavours of platformers. Cool Spot, which we talked about extensively.
Yeah.
Corporate Icon. Earthworm Jim and Earthworm Jim 2. Although sadly it's been somewhat undermined by its creator being a not very nice person. But at the time, the Earthworm Jim games were great, and the cartoon, in my mind, the cartoon came out way, way, way after Earthworm Jim the games did. And that was
Yeah, that was between Earthworm Jim 1 and 2, wasn't it?
I don't know, because it drew quite heavily. You know, Dr. Rope Fish for a head.
I don't know about the creator being a very nice person. Is it something we want to talk about in the podcast?
No. It's just been cancelled. But
Okay.
I think appropriately. But yeah, Earthworm Jim, great games. Partly for really fucking with the format. With their boss fights, one level you'll turn into a blind cave salamander, quiz at the end. Questions made no sense. Really, really fun. And the cartoon was equally off the wall.
Bonkers,
wacky.
yeah. Wacky, yeah.
Jurassic Park, a couple of really decent Jurassic Park games. Again, super solid in the way that they were.
So stupidly hard. And again, they were 2D platformers. And you're just running away from horrible raptors.
Yeah, and then one level was set on a river, and so you were hopping on and off this boat, which was a real pain in the ass. We got to the end level where you're on the skeleton above the T-Rex, and we could never get any further. And this is pre us being able to look up how you did it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we never finished it.
Yeah.
Despite really difficult. Moonwalker.
Yes, yep.
Who knew that a music video for Smooth Criminal could inspire an entire game, and that game wouldn't be utter trash?
No, it's a movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Moonwalker is a movie starring Michael Jackson. He turns into a car, as in he turns into a sort of transformer.
We've definitely had this discussion.
Yeah.
Before.
We've definitely made this podcast, haven't we?
I told you about the game. You tell me it's a film. He turns into a car. I go, wow, who knew?
Yeah.
Anyway.
This time on season 3 of TGM, the
podcast. You know what he got? It's the Moonwalker and Earthworm Jim episode again. And what game are we talking about, Richie? We're talking about Mortal Kombat 3 this time. And then the last game I wanted to mention was Green Dog, which we've also talked about before. They're just cool, different ways of being.
What game? Sorry, Green Door?
Green Dog.
Green Dog.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't even remember us talking about that. We definitely have done the Mega Drive podcast.
We talked about it when we were talking about Cool Spot, because Green Dog and Cool Spot are two corners of the triangle of Sprite trying to take over the world.
Click.
And then I wanted to finish on games that I never played, but I always wanted to. They've always been on my wish list, and I never got around to it. Desert Strike was one of those. I was obsessed with Desert Strike. Oh my
god, yeah, Desert Strike. You never played it?
No, I always wanted it, and then again, I think it was in Blockbuster 1 week, and I wasn't ever then again, and I used to fantasize and dream about it.
All of those games were great. The Desert Strike, Jungle Strike,
Urban Strike.
Yep, they were all really, really good. I think actually Desert Strike.
Alright, don't rub it in. I've just said I wanted to play it and didn't.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, they were really, really good.
Really, really good. I can't.
Oh man, I'd hate it if I hadn't played Desert Strike, because they were great games. Alright, I get it.
How much of a dick would you have to be to not play Desert Strike?
God, it's been 40 years. Get yourself a copy, because they're really good.
I don't think they stand the test of time, I'll be honest with you. I think, nah. Like, the memory that I have of it, and then looking at a screenshot, I'm just like, oh, that is so ugly. I imagine it's probably a much harder game than
it's very brown.
Yeah, but yeah, well, maybe it's worth having a go actually. Let's get the emulator out when you're round next.
Fantasy Star. Unfortunately, I've tried. Yeah, I started Fantasy Star 2 a couple of times, and it's just I've missed the boat.
Absolutely, one of those big. It's like. Yeah, it's like all of the RPGs that they just dump on the Nintendo Switch store as well. Like, here, have Breath of Fire 1 and 2. And
yeah.
Okay, both of those games are 200 plus hours alone. Right, fine. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, I tried it, and it was which is a shame because lots of people love Fantasy Star. It's still going. My brother has been a huge fan since the Dreamcast, the first online one. Comic Zone.
Yes.
I'm really interested in.
Yeah, played that one.
I think it's one of those games that I was trying to unlock on the Sonic collection, but you have to, I don't know, beat all the Sonic games in one life or something to unlock it. It's now available.
It's a bit silly. There's another one with a robot, and I'm trying to remember its name. God
Where you have to
damn it.
collect frisbees.
Maybe, yeah.
It feels like you have to collect frisbees.
It was more of a side-scrolling beat-em-up thing, but it wasn't co-op. Yeah.
I know the one. It's on the Mega Drive collection.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, I'd love to give Syndicate on Mega Drive a go.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just to see. Because it was tough enough on the PlayStation when you had, 10 buttons.
I mean, I was very lucky because I played that on the Amiga, so it was mouse and keyboard. Much easier to play.
But how you do that with 3 buttons?
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's my wish list for the Mega Drive.
Cool. I think Desert Strike is something we should definitely look into and see if we can get running.
Oh no, fuck that. Bonanza Bros. All the way.
Bonanza Brothers, and I want to give Space Harrier a go as well.
Well, let's start with Space Harrier. And
Yeah.
after 5 minutes of us both dying 400 times.
Yeah. We'll do Bonanza Brothers. Realise that we are not in sync at all.
And then finish off with some Desert Strike.
Yeah. Yeah. Some napalm for dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess ending the Mega Drive, I didn't touch. Ooh, an item. I didn't touch the Sega CD or the Saturn. Barely touched the Dreamcast, and then that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had the Dreamcast, but yeah, I skipped the in between bits because they were expensive consoles. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing for us as well. Starting with the Sega CD, is it was just getting more and more expensive and quite hard to get hold of games. And there was nothing that really suggested like you have to have this, especially not when compared with the PlayStation, where games were nowhere near as expensive in my mind.
I mean, like, yeah, the SNES and the Mega Drive both had very expensive games.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was much cheaper. The Amiga was like a tenner,
Yeah.
So for the same title.
So yeah, that was our one last foray. I wouldn't really say I'm a Sega fanboy, but it's definitely formative console chops were on.
Yeah, well, like, as you probably alluded to at the start of this, was like I was a Nintendo boy, through and through. So my dabbling with the other side was just boring. Somebody's console, or being around at somebody's house who had it, or visiting somebody who had those games or that system. Feeling the control and thinking, oh, this is different from the SNES. Cool. Okay, let's bring this one to a close.
Yeah.
And apologise for this being 100 minutes long.
Oh Christ.
That's longer than some movies, Farley.
Definitely not worth it.
Yeah, definitely not worth it.
Got this far, well done.
Yeah, well done. Bonus content to all of the people who've made it to this point. Congratulations for putting up with our inane drivel for 100 minutes.
Yeah, and Richie's going to round off the podcast with recounting a sonnet as he was once told upon the main streets of Scotland. The story of Space Harrier 2 in medieval song.
No, I'm not. That guy's a maniac.
What about me?
Hi, welcome to the fuck.